Hey everyone, and welcome back. We are jumping right into it today with this Houmify Consumer Housing Trends Report
Yeah.
for 2024.
Yeah.
We are going to be your decoders for this report, so you don't have to be.
Yeah, we're going to break it down.
Exactly. Break it down.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense for 2024. So specifically, we're looking at home buyers this year.
Yeah.
Who they are, what they're looking for, what they're up against.
What are their challenges? What does that look like? Who are these people?
Okay. Well, and that's the thing, right? We're going to look at who are these people.
Yes.
Because the average home buyer this year is 42.
Wow. That is older than, well,
Older.
it highlights that we've got a generational shift happening. Because millennials are the biggest group of buyers now, 34%.
Wow.
So they're not the future, they're the present.
They are the present.
Yes, sir.
So millennials are adulting.
Yes, they are.
But here's the thing. While the median income is about $97,600 a year,
Okay.
a good chunk of those buyers, we're talking 28%,
Yeah.
are actually making less than $50,000.
Yeah, and that's a big question about affordability. Are these buyers compromising in other areas of their life? Are we seeing a shift in priorities? Is it more important to own that home even on a lower income? Something to think about.
It really is. Makes you wonder what kind of trade-offs people are making
Right.
in order to enter this market.
Yeah.
Let's move on from who's buying to
Okay.
what they're looking for.
Yeah.
What are those must-have features? Well, nobody wants to sweat it out
Mm-hmm.
because 83%
Oh, no.
of buyers are saying that air conditioning is very important to them.
Well, yeah, and with climate change and temperatures are rising. Yeah.
Air conditioning is becoming a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a luxury anymore. It's about having a home that's livable all year round.
It's really interesting you say that because it really is becoming a part of that checklist
Right.
when you are going through and you're looking for a home. Now, beyond AC, what's that one thing? It's the neighborhood, right?
Yes.
That walkability,
Yeah.
81%
It's huge.
of buyers saying walkability is the biggest neighborhood draw.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, people want to be closer to amenities, less reliance on cars,
Right.
feel connected to where they are.
So it's not just about the house anymore.
No,
It's about the lifestyle.
it is.
And you know what's a major factor in lifestyle choices now? Climate change.
This is true. And it is no longer this like far off thing. It is impacting
Yeah.
decisions right now.
Yeah.
Almost 75% of buyers
Are considering climate risks.
It's a big deal. We're talking about things that can really impact your home, like floods, extreme heat, wildfires.
Yeah, it's not just a rainy day.
Right.
And buyers are asking about things like elevation, how close are they to fire-prone areas, even water resources in the future.
It's wild. But let's face it, most of us, we're not climate scientists.
Right.
So how can we really wrap our heads around these risks and make good decisions?
It's a really good question.
Right.
And it speaks to working with people who know their stuff. Like a real estate agent who really knows about these climate risks can give you some really good insight.
That's a good point.
Or even climate risk maps.
Oh, yeah.
Reports that can help you, the buyer, understand those vulnerabilities.
So really, it's all about arming yourself with information, right?
Yes.
And not being afraid to ask a lot of questions.
White
Knowledge is power. Speaking of information, how about we talk about how technology is really changing how we even find and buy these homes?
Oh, yeah. It's a whole new world.
Right.
I mean, gone are the days of just like driving around, hoping
Yeah.
you see a for sale sign. You know, this report found that everybody's going online.
Online's where it's at.
It is.
Yeah.
Websites, apps, virtual tours, you name it.
That's so convenient.
Yeah.
But even with all of that, does actually seeing the house in person, does that even still matter?
100%. Because while those virtual tours are great, nothing beats that real life experience. You know, walking through, getting a feel for the flow, seeing how the light hits at different points of the day. You can't get that online.
Okay, so we've talked climate change, tech, we even had a little online dating analogy in there.
We did.
But we can't forget about the money. Because buying a house, it's a big deal financially.
100%. It is a huge financial commitment. And this report showed us that there's really no one-size-fits-all approach to this anymore.
Okay, so tell me, how are people getting creative with how they're paying for these homes?
So savings are still number one for down payments.
Okay.
But we're seeing a lot more people tapping into retirement funds, getting help from their family, or even using money from a previous house that they sold. And, it's really important, I think, for listeners to know what they're getting into before they do any of this stuff.
Yeah, do your research.
Yeah.
It's a big decision.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about those down payments, because that can be a real roadblock for a lot of people trying to buy a house.
Yeah, especially
first-time buyers.
Yeah, down payments are the biggest barrier to entry.
Yeah.
But there is some good news.
Okay.
Down payment assistance programs are becoming more and more popular.
That's awesome. Tell me more about those.
So these programs offer money to home buyers, usually grants or loans,
Okay.
to help cover that down payment and those closing costs.
Oh, wow.
And they're usually for first-time buyers, lower-income earners, and buyers of color who historically haven't had the same access.
So it's not just about owning a home, it's about making it fair for everybody.
Exactly.
I love that. But let's be real. Even with those programs, there are still those closing costs that tend to pop up at the worst time.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the universe's way of being like, surprise.
Right. You thought you were done.
Right. So how can people avoid those surprises at the closing table?
Honesty and talking to your lender. Don't be afraid to ask questions. A lot of questions.
Yes.
Ask for a list of all those costs right up front.
Okay.
Make sure you get anything you don't understand explained,
Important.
and you can negotiate those.
That's right. Knowledge is power.
Yes, it is your best defense.
Okay, let's go back to something we were talking about earlier. Climate change. It's a big deal. It's not just about having AC anymore. It's changing how people are thinking about where they want to live, the kinds of homes they're looking for.
Right. Buyers are really starting to prioritize being prepared for climate change.
Right.
They're thinking about things like floods, really hot temperatures, and wildfires. It's like you wouldn't buy a car without knowing how safe it is, right?
That's a good point.
So you want to make sure your house can handle whatever's coming.
It's like climate change is adding this whole other layer to house hunting.
It really is.
It's not just about finding a pretty house anymore. It's about finding a house that can last.
Right. A house that can withstand anything.
It really changes how we think about finding a safe place to live, you know?
Yeah. And it's not just about individual homes either. It's like whole communities.
Right.
How are we going to build for the future with this in mind?
That's a really good point. And speaking of communities, this report found that people are really looking for that connection, that sense of belonging.
Yeah. It's not just about having a roof over your head anymore.
Right.
People want neighbors. They want to support local businesses, be a part of something.
Yeah, like it takes a village, right?
Exactly.
Even in this digital world,
Yeah.
people still want that.
They do. And we're seeing that in the real estate choices that people are making. Co-living spaces are coming back, those master planned communities.
Oh, interesting.
When they try to get that interaction going, you know?
So it's like you're not just looking for a house, you're looking for a neighborhood that feels like home.
Exactly.
That's cool. So thinking about community like that, what does that mean for the future of housing?
Oh, there are going to be some cool changes. Co-housing, mixed-use developments, where you've got homes, businesses, and things to do all in one spot.
Oh, I love that. Creating these walkable neighborhoods where you can just live, work, connect. It's all right there. Well, we covered a lot today, from who's buying to climate change to the money stuff and even technology.
We did. It's a lot.
It really is. But if our listeners take away one thing, what would you say it is?
Be in the know. Know what's up and be ready to adapt.
I love that.
Do your homework, know what you want, and think outside the box. There's more than one way to find a home.
That's such a good point. The more you know, the better decisions you can make.
100%. You're not just finding a house, you're finding the right fit.
Yes. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive
We have.
into the 2024 housing market.
I hope this gave everyone some things to think about.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. We'll see you next time.